Hi folks, this is Don Meisner with the North Country Fishing Report. A long time ago, it was at least, it was before COVID. I had been out fishing and doing fishing behind the line TV shows, and I discovered this bait that I had discovered when I was a kid. And I came here on the radio and I told you about it. And it's a soft plastic replica of a Hellgrammite. And a Hellgrammite is a larvae-looking creature with almost like a centipede type, tons of legs, and then its head, it has two pinchers that if you allow that head, even though that head is small, if you allow that thing to get on your hand, it'll pinch and you'll yell, and I'm telling you, it'll pinch like crazy. But the fish don't seem to care about that pinching. And if you can find Hellgrammites, they're one of the best baits for trout and bass that I've ever seen. So I discovered a company that was making these soft plastic Hellgrammites, and I used them, and this is going back 3 years ago, and I started catching bass like crazy. Well, now, this year, I've been using Z-Man. It's a special type of plastic that doesn't cut, doesn't rip. You can catch 50 fish on one single plastic body. But I've been using that, so I've got away from the Hellgrammites. Well, the night before last, I went down to the Grass River. I wanted one more chance before fall hit, or before the rains brought the water up where I wouldn't be able to wade it. And I fished the lures I've been using this summer, and I did really well. And I got to this pool, and I caught probably 10 fish, 10 bass out of the pool, and the biggest one was probably 11 or 12 inches. Most of them were 9 or 10. And I thought, okay, I've exhausted it. However, I had 2 of these soft plastic Hellgrammites in my pocket. I brought them along for some reason. I guess I just happened to notice them. So I put one on, cast right out where I've been casting, and I felt a tunk. And I hooked the biggest bass. It was by far the biggest bass I'd seen that day. And up out of the water it came, and jumping and jumping and jump. It was something that if you had a camera, it would have been spectacular to see. And I finally brought it in. Now, these Hellgrammites are not made of that special plastic that doesn't rip or tear. They're soft. They look really alive in the water, but they don't last long. So I was able to get the Hellgrammite back on the hook. By the way, this bass was, I'm going to say 3 pounds, which for the river is phenomenal size. I cast out in the same pool that I had exhausted all the strikes in. And again, I didn't reel it in. I let it sort of drift. I've just got a little tiny weight on it just to get it down. And it started to drift, and I see the line twitch. Set the hook again, and bam, another monster bass. Those 2 big bass had been waiting in there. They wouldn't hit the other baits that had been so phenomenal because they didn't quite get their fancy or something. And what it told me is, wow, some of those things we discover along the way, and then we abandon them for no real reason. Either we forget or we go in another direction. Sometimes those things need to be reused again to see just how well they'll work. And I got to tell you, for bass and trout, I don't think I've ever used anything that is any better than a Hellgrammite. Until next time, folks, this is Don Meisner with the North Country Fishing Report.